What's up, everybody? It's the Digital World Podcast. Folks, national demographics are reaching levels that have not been seen um, as far as national, like when I'm talking about demographics, right? I'm talking about the amount of young people living with their parents is reaching levels that have not been seen since the Great Depression. And, that figure, is reaching, I believe it was around the high 30s percentile. And these are levels that you have not seen since then. And I go over that in my last video. Now, we're talking about interest rates. Anyone who has been watching this channel knows that we've been consistently drilling the point home about where we're going next. And a lot of people right now, there's a narrative gaining steam on the interest rate cut that's coming in September. If we look at the percentage, it looks like it's basically a 99% chance that we're getting a 25% basis point hike. Now, recently we just got data for CPI and PPI, and it came in hot. I mean hot. I believe PPI was like 3.3%, and the expected was 2.5. Core was like 0.2 expected, and it came out like 0.8. So the inflation is coming in hot, and this is something that we had discussed in our episodes recently about how if the Fed goes ahead and cuts without a justifiable reason, right? Like there's a chance that they cut, and instead of it, bringing down rates, it actually made them jump. Now, my base case, and this is I'm playing the long game here. So all the short-term volatility does not matter to me. What matters is what's going to happen here in the next 5 years, right? I'm having that long-term time horizon. I do believe we've had 40 years of a bull market in the bond market. And if you look at any 5-year period of time, it's plenty of time to give you an indication that there's a trend change. Ever since 2020, we've been going higher. And I believe this is going to continue to climb. That next step, something's got to give, and you're going to see this jump up. So I think, and we'll be watching, that rate cut that's coming is going to make this yield go higher. And it's going to catch a lot of people by surprise, because right now the narrative is Fed is cutting, and that's gonna we need cuts. People are dying for the cuts, but it's the narrative, right? They're like, give me the cuts. The cuts are gonna help me. But in reality, I think it's gonna have the opposite effect of what people think, and they're just going based off of the narrative, right? And so, I will say, mortgage rates, we go here, have come down to 6.58%. And they've been hovering about 6.75 around that area for a while, right? And so they've definitely come down. But, I mean, it's been that way, right? It's been that way since, several years, right? Like you look here, it's been hovering around, between 6 and 7%. Let's see here, since, you see like August, right, of last year. Let's even go further. 3 years, right? So you can say since 2023, right? So 2 years. And now I wanted to show you guys this because inevitably, as these rates go higher, what that's going to do is drop the price of your home. This is lumber futures yesterday. There was a 7% drop in lumber futures in the past 2 weeks. Um, and what inevitably, right? It's like this person says, it's a leading indicator for new home construction if this trend holds. And so we see kind of the writing on the wall, right? Uh, Lumber futures are down, which inevitably home construction is going to go down, right? And everyone knows that winter, obviously things slow down for construction, right? Usually the time where it picks up is like, the summer season. And we're exiting that. And there's a lot of homes that are on the market. I've been talking about this. There's a lot of homes on the market. I've seen $100,000 to $150,000 price cuts, right, on homes that are listed for $650. Now they're $500. And I still think there's this train is just starting, and the economy is starting to show signs of slowing down. The other part about this is, and Darth Powell makes an excellent point here. Everyone and their neighbors can't afford the homes they live in at today's prices and interest rates. They wouldn't be able to afford it. But they're somehow convinced everyone else can. The poor side of the economy is somehow going to pay you more than you can even afford. It's not happening. So a lot of people are living in this delusional world where they think, I want someone to pay me what it's currently valued at. And this is a tweet on his previous tweet. How many people are saying I have $400,000 in equity when their neighbor's house down the street isn't selling after dropping the price $150,000? Exactly, right? So my point, I've seen homes like that. You've cut the price $150,000, but you still can't sell your house. What does that tell you? No one's buying it at those current prices. So what is your home really worth if no one can afford to buy it? Right? Yeah, you have $400K in equity, but does it matter? No, because no one can buy it. And so, like, your house could be, listed at whatever price, but if you're not selling it, are you really worth that much money? Absolutely not. So, again, my base case here is that we're going to keep climbing. And I think you're going to start seeing a lot of volatile events here in the near future. And a lot of those things will, the narrative is going to place blame on those events as the cause, when in reality it's just a symptom, right, of everything that's going on. And I think we need to be very diligent, right, in what we research and see where the trends are going. Forget about the narrative. Forget what they're telling you. You need to be have data, right? Be very sound on the research and data that you get, and make your own conclusions, right? You can get a chart, you can look at things, and draw your own conclusions from it. I highly advise that you look into that. But I believe that September rate cut is going to catch a lot of people off-footed. And I think it's going in one direction, but in reality, it's going to go in the opposite. So, anyways, rate cuts have never been good for the markets either. Usually when you start cutting rates, it's when the markets start coming down, because there's stress signals in the economy. So, and that's your first sign of get out of the market, because it's not going to look pretty. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. What are you guys seeing in your area as far as the housing market? I'm curious what it's like in your guys' area. Let me know. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel. This is the Digital World Podcast, and I'll see you in the next episode. Have a good one, everyone.